The way we always tell our graduate students is that the method follows the question. If we have data on a lot of individuals, like in an election, voting decisions, it's appropriate to use statistical analysis to try and find patterns in that data. If, on the other hand, we are trying to understand a single event or the actions of a single individual, how Barack Obama built a coalition behind healthcare, then it's appropriate to use a more case study approach where we have interviews and analyses of texts and things like that. If we're trying to ask a question of the form, what would be a good healthcare policy, then various normative theory approaches would be the way to go.
In choosing a method when I have a given question that I'm trying to answer, I'm a big believer in multiple methods. So trying to come at it from a variety of perspectives gives you more confidence that you've arrived at a good answer if you can verify it from several different points of view. And so one thing, for example, in my work when I will decide what method to use would be what part of the question could best be answered by some technique. So to use just one example from my work on race and representation, one of the things I was interested in there was the running for political office for the U.S. House. The racial composition of the candidate pool running for office can have a big impact on the kind of representation that is produced in that district. And when you have a different mix of white and black candidates running in a pool, you have a different kind of representation that comes out at the end. And so to study that question of the nature of representation that emerges from this kind of supply side approach to looking at electoral politics, I could look at it from a statistical standpoint. So I could see that, for example, when you had a white candidate running in a Democratic primary, you were much more likely to get what I call the politics of different representation when you had African American candidates who were appealing mostly to African American voters. And you could see that in a statistical sense that was actually what happened by looking at the data from these different districts. But using that statistical analysis, one thing that I really couldn't understand until I did a case study that went along with it were the motivations of the people who were actually running. Were they motivated by the same kind of racial questions that appeared from the outside that they were? But to confirm that then by actually talking to the people who were running really gave me confidence that I had my story right.